Welcome to the Smart Weight Loss Coaching Podcast. I'm Dr. Lisa Olson, a board-certified weight loss medicine specialist and certified life coach. In this podcast, I'll share fresh insights and effective techniques for incorporating mindset, habit change, and proven science into your life. Are you ready to achieve sustainable weight loss, wellness, and longevity? Then let's jump in and lose weight the smart way. Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about gotcha foods, and I think these will be very relatable to you. They certainly are to me. These are foods that even my healthy clients will sometimes fall prey to, not realizing that they're ultra-processed. Keep in mind, we know that ultra-processed or Nova-4 foods can cause weight gain out of proportion to the calories. So this is a real source of gotcha foods for my clients. If they get out of the habit of reading the ingredient list and just flip over the package to look at the nutrition label and see something like only 100 calories, they can mistakenly go down a path of thinking this is a healthy choice, even if it's not. So today I was seeing a client who told me that she's been eating a snack that's a little bit of a treat, but she felt pretty good about it because it was only 130 calories and has 5 grams of protein per serving. The treat was a Nutrisystem mint ice cream sandwich. So, it's not that we can't eat ice cream, but I kind of suspected that this was going to be one of those gotcha foods. So I said, okay, let's screen share and we'll go online together and let's look up the ingredient list of this Nutrisystem ice cream sandwich. So here's what we found. I'm not going to read you the whole ingredient list. I'll just read you the rather concerning highlights. Corn syrup, polydextrose, maltodextrin, mono and diglycerides, carabine gum, cellulose gel, cellulose gum, carrageenan, caramel color, which is outlawed in California, dextrose, and soy lecithin. There are other things in there of concern, but those were the things that after I got through that list, my client just looked like she wanted to shrivel up in a little ball on the floor. I felt really bad about that, but the point of this is never to make you feel bad. It's to raise awareness. And I want you to do this for yourself. This was a gotcha product because on the front, they were advertising the protein, the low calorie count. But we know that this is a chemical bomb. You know, the other thing that made this a gotcha food is the fact that it was a Nutrisystem food. You know, there's this health halo around Nutrisystem because their foods are supposed to be helpful for weight loss. So you would think that they would have healthy ingredients. We can't make that assumption. Not with Nutrisystem, not with OptiFast, MetaFast, Ideal Protein, any bars, any shakes, any protein powders, anything with the word healthy in the front, healthy choice meals. You know, we just have to be really skeptical consumers and get past the front of the package to flip it over, go to the bottom of the nutrition panel, find the ingredient list, and dig in to find the cellulose gel, cellulose gum, mono and diglycerides, and so on. Back in 2018 or so, in the Journal of the American Medical Association, a study was published that looked at the state of our nutrition and the impact of that and all sorts of other risk factors for death. Of course, the outcome none of us want, right? So they came out with a statement, the researchers who studied what was killing us in this 26-year period, and poor quality diet was up at the top. There were also tobacco use and high blood pressure, as well as poor quality diet at the top of this list. But just think about that for a minute. A poor quality diet is a risk factor for death. And if you're only looking at things like health claims on the front of a label or how many calories are in something that you're eating, you're really going to miss the things that can lead you down the path to a poor diet. I think this is going to get worse before it gets better because of the ubiquity of these Nova 4 ultra processed foods in our food supply. I mean, they're just everywhere. It's really shocking. I did a huge kitchen clean out, cleaned out my entire refrigerator, all the condiments in the door, cleaned out the pantries. And even in my own house, I mean, I'm crazy about reading ingredient labels. I'm on top of that all the time. There were all sorts of things that snuck into my house. I don't know where they came from that had some of these ultra processed ingredients. So what I'd really like you to think about is keeping it simple. If you're interested in losing weight or lowering your blood sugar, lowering your cholesterol, improving your health overall, reducing your risk of cancer, there's some very basic things that we can do. I should say also reducing your risk of dementia, because that is new science. And having a healthy diet has a huge impact on our brain health and our risk of both Alzheimer's dementia and all-cause dementia, meaning all the other things that can cause dementia. So diet really matters. And of course, I don't mean going on a diet. I just mean the way you eat day in and day out. We all have room for the occasional mint ice cream sandwich type of thing, but we want those to be really infrequent. You can have treats that are made from real food as opposed to chemicals much more often. For sure, you have room for real food treats. Think back, like in the 1950s, people ate cookies, they ate pie, they ate ice cream, but there was a lot less trouble with diabetes and the disease of obesity, the chronic progressive disease of obesity. We just had better health outcomes in that regard because even when we were eating treats, they were mostly made from real food. Our cookies had eggs and flour and maybe oatmeal and raisins and sugar. Very simple ingredients, not a lot of preservatives. We weren't using flavor enhancers, all the preservatives. We weren't using emulsifiers, thickeners. These things have really corrupted our food supply. I mean, in some ways, they've been helpful, but they've just become out of control. If you're trying to get healthier, just keep it simple and remember these 3 main points. Number 1, reduce or eliminate Nova 4, meaning ultra-processed ingredients and foods. So to do this, we have to recognize them. And that's why I keep trying to share some of these gotcha type of foods in the podcast, just to raise awareness and help you get into the habit of looking at ingredient labels so you don't get fooled too. The second thing I'd like you to do is add in more real food, unprocessed food, especially plants like nuts, vegetables, fruits, seeds, lentils, beans, and so on. And number 3, trust your gut and don't get lost in the weeds. If you're trying to lose 50 pounds, it really doesn't matter if you're eating high fat, low carb, or low fat, high carb, as long as you choose your carbs and fats thoughtfully. No food has to be forbidden. The key that we're looking at here is that you're eating food, not these non-nutritive food-like products like a Nutrisystem mint ice cream sandwich. In my Smart Weight Loss coaching program, sometimes people are asking me to just tell them what to eat. Like, just tell me what to eat. Give me a handout. Tell me what you ate and I'll eat the same thing. I think it can be intimidating to transform your health because people think of going on something really drastic all at once, like the Whole30 diet or something like that. I mean, the Whole30 diet is a pretty healthy way to eat for 30 days, but nobody sticks with that because that's not a sustainable way to eat. And if I were to give you a list of exactly what you should eat, well, that probably wouldn't be sustainable either because I would just have the foods that I like to eat and you should eat what you like to eat. But what we can do is kind of healthy it up by looking at your food tracker. And you can do this for yourself, of course. Write down the food that you eat and look at what's in those foods. If you have something like a mint ice cream sandwich from Nutrisystem, I don't want you to have the thought that you're never allowed to eat an ice cream sandwich or you're never allowed to eat ice cream. But perhaps you want to switch it out for some Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream that just has cream, milk, sugar, egg yolk, and vanilla. That's still ice cream, right? It's still a dessert, but it's not an ultra processed ice cream. So my client today actually was willing to make that swap. That sounded great after recovering from the shock of what was in those ice cream sandwiches. So take tiny steps, make little swaps. If you like something, but you recognize that there are ultra processed ingredients in it that will cause weight gain, diabetes, dementia, increase your risk of cancer, obesity, all the different things, just swap it out for something similar made from real ingredients. Really, it's doable. It feels like a big project if you start to realize that a lot of your food has these ingredients, but you'll get there. It just takes a little bit of practice. I can't think of any lentil or bean recipes that I made regularly when I was younger. I mean, in adulthood, but a younger adult. I mean, other than chili, like I probably made chili and I probably made it with meat. Nowadays, I make it with vegetables. And I do actually add some lentils to my chili, which is interesting. One of my clients told me that she does that, so I tried it. It was pretty good. But if I think back, I don't know, let's say 20 years or more, I didn't know a single recipe with lentils. I didn't know a single recipe with beans other than chili. And slowly I've started to add those things in. I first started with one recipe for a cold salad with cannellini beans, and it had some red onion and sun-dried tomatoes and some basil, extra virgin olive oil, probably a little bit of red wine vinegar, salt and pepper, something like that. It was pretty basic. It was used as a side dish, and I just fell in love with it. And so I started making that all the time, and it was really delicious. But that was my one recipe with beans for many years, besides the chili, of course. Start small. Start wherever you're at. The beauty of the internet is you can find so many foods just by typing in, find me a healthy lentil recipe. Find me a healthy bean recipe. I mean, there are so many out there and so many generous recipe developers who share their recipes online for all of us to access. I have a lot of success with the New York Times cooking app. That is so worth my membership. I get so many healthy, real food, whole food, plant-forward recipes from them. And when I talk about eating in a plant-forward way, I'm not saying that you can't have meat or you can't have fish. I mean, I eat fish. I eat some shrimp. I don't tend to eat much other meat, but I think it's okay if you choose to do that. I would simply be thoughtful about the kind of meat that you have. So organic, no hormones, no antibiotics, pasture-raised, grass-fed, all those kind of key things that we look for on a label. So whether you're focusing on eating more plants or just eating more real food, start small, make little changes. Don't be a perfectionist. Just let yourself do this over time. And remember that you get good at what you practice. So I think of cooking as something that I practice. I am practicing making more plant-based meals all the time. And I'm actually finally getting pretty good at that. It used to be that wasn't instinctive for me, but now it is. Well, it's mostly instinctive. I still do really follow recipes for most plant-based foods because I'm not in a total state of flow yet. I don't have years of experience eating in a plant-based way, but I'm going to get there because we get good at what we practice, right? So I want you to go into your own kitchen and see if there are any gotcha foods, okay? My suggestion is don't make this a tedious chore. I would do this with someone. Do you have a friend who's trying to get healthier or a friend who's trying to lose weight? Why don't you get together and go through your kitchens together? First go to one place, then go to the other, and just start pulling things out of the fridge, pulling things out of the pantry, flipping the packages over and reading the labels. I'm talking about your salad dressing, your cottage cheese, your yogurt, your cereal, all of this stuff. If you have instant oatmeal. I want you to read all of the ingredient labels and then decide which things you want to start swapping out. Again, don't do everything at once. If your weight loss journey is made miserable by always beating yourself up for mistakes, I'm putting mistakes in air quotes, for mistakes you've made, like you bought the wrong kind of cereal and you flipped it over and read the ingredient list and it's got all sorts of chemicals in it, don't use that as an excuse to beat yourself up. We're all learning, right? So be on your weight loss journey with other people. That's the first way to make it a little more fun, to laugh a little bit, to be incredulous when you read some of these ingredient labels. Do it with someone. It's not your fault if you've bought some of these things. Remember, the front of the labels are designed to be deceptive. But beyond that, excess weight is a complex, multifactorial chronic disease. It is not caused by a lack of willpower. I want you to remember there are genetic and epigenetic contributors to excess weight. There are environmental toxins in our own homes that contribute. There are endocrine disorders and medications, including some over-the-counter medications that can cause weight gain, some of the sleep aids, some of the allergy pills. There are also so many social factors, norms, rituals, things that we do that make us vulnerable to overeating and overdrinking. For example, how do we get together with people in this country? It's usually around food. Do you want to get together for dinner? Do you want to get together for lunch or for brunch or for a drink? That's really common. That's a social norm for us. It's very socially accepted. So if you're looking for something different there, invite someone to get together to go for a walk. Invite someone to take a class together. There are a lot of other ways we can connect with people, but for most of us, it's a habit to do it around food. So that's another thing that contributes to our weight. Also, our toxic food environment, as we've been talking about. But I don't want you to give up. You have agency here, and you can make changes. Again, start slow, find some swaps, and celebrate your victories along the way. It's time for your NBA, your next best action. I'd love for you to consider reading labels and doing a deep dive into your own kitchen to see if you have any of those gotcha foods where the big food industry gotcha. It's okay if you do. I have them too. It's a constant process to eliminate those or avoid them. Do it with someone to make it fun. And remember, if this is your NBA, I want you to decide what you're going to make it mean when you find a gotcha food in your house. Don't make it mean you blew it, you failed, you're stupid, you were duped. None of that is true. You're just human. And these marketers are extremely aggressive. They have decades of experience figuring out how to entice us, how to make the labels deceive us, how to trick us into thinking we're eating something healthy or that low calorie means weight loss. Nobody is stupid for buying Nutrisystem ice cream sandwiches. That's my point. So hopefully your NBA is to read some labels, swap out some food, but also be nice to yourself while you're doing that. That's a big part of my program. Thinking about the way we talk to ourselves with uplifting, positive encouragement and never trash talking or being mean girls to ourselves. I know for many of you, that's something that takes practice too. And we're going to talk about that again. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like more support during your smart weight loss journey, check out our group coaching program at smartweightlosscoaching.com. Until next time, stay well and stay smart.